We spoke about Andrew Huberman today. What's your thoughts on him and his contributions?
Overarchingly is one of the best educational resources, I would say. That is also one of the only individuals that I believe to be very, very, I don't know, like dedicated to putting out the best information, even at the detriment of potential views. Like, he will not just host people who will get high views. He will host people that he feels have high level contribution to the community at large and are educational and could otherwise inform him of things he doesn't even know. And he's very open to criticism, even from YouTubers who aren't medically qualified, like myself. Like, he did not get upset or annoyed when I first reacted to one of his Joe Rogan episodes, and I had talked about some of the stuff he said about some of the bodybuilding drugs he had mentioned, some of the interactions with endocrine hormones. I kind of did one of my classic reaction videos and gave kind of my insight on what I felt to be correct. And he was very, very polite. Like, a lot of people could take that the wrong way and be like, I'm a fucking like world top tier neuroscientist and you piece of shit YouTuber, you don't know anything. Who are you to talk about this? And he was not like that at all. We've become decent friends, I would say, since then. And he's always open to learning, even if it's from people who aren't like medically credentialed, which is awesome, because there are a lot of people out there who are, some of the people I learned the most from aren't MDs or guys who are otherwise seen as, the forefront on paper qualified person. There are people who are just entrenched in learning more and are otherwise very much doing the same thing he does too, where they'll just host people and learn or dig into literature themselves, stay up to date on the most cutting edge developments in endocrinology, pharmacology, whatever it is. And he's great.
It seems like a rarity to have someone that has got the scientific rigor and the preparedness to go through what I imagine aren't exactly entertaining papers, not exactly like a riveting read, to then take all of that out, look at what does this mean for the everyday person, and then turn it into something that's an applied solution. That's an awful lot of work. And, the podcast is unbelievably successful, and he has this fantastic platform now, and his live shows are going well and all the rest of it. But, like, let's be fair. He works, as podcasters go, that man works incredibly hard for what he gets out. It's not like he's publishing an episode every single day. Yeah. He's not live streaming all the time. He's taking weeks, months sometimes to do research for a single episode. This one's going to be about grief. This one's going to be about mating psychology. This one's going to be about exercise science or whatever. And you're like, this guy's gone as deep as is possible on pretty much anything and everything that's available to do it. The interesting thing, massive fan of Andrew, become really like tight with him since he came on the show. And I find him like a really giving, like kind person, which again, for that industry, you'd think like super autisty, just head in the books without any compassion or whatever. And not the case either. The biggest difference, or the interesting thing that I realized, I think, since Huberman's been on the scene, the biohacking community overall has begun to look more and more silly to me personally. I don't know whether that's the case for everybody else, but the very sort of experimental, forward-thinking, like super out there stuff that was being done kind of seems a bit silly and under-evidenced.
Give me an example.
Red light sunning on your balls and like claiming that that's like the biggest thing, the most important thing that you need to do. PCP injections into like whatever fucking part of your body in order to be able to facilitate it, blah, blah, blah. Like the different types of lights that people would get either on glasses or around their neck to activate certain glands or whatever. That was like a thing for a big while, these sort of necklaces almost that had lights built into them that people would use. Like all manner of wild shit that was happening using like brain train EMF machines in order to be able to optimize your meditation practice and stuff like that. In comparison with someone like Huberman, who just comes out and goes, this is what the science says. This is what we know, like hard and fast. This is something that has evidence that backs it up. This is a tool that we can fairly derive from those conclusions. This is something that you should try with an appropriate amount of caveats. And to me, it's thrown the biohacking community into quite harsh light, some of the elements of the biohacking community that were super out there. Now, that being said, there are a bunch of things that I'm sure that Andrew suggests that the biohacking community was light years ahead on.
Yeah.
But if you throw a lot of shit at the wall, inevitably some of it's going to stick. And I think for a like bang for your buck per minute content consumption versus usable strategy, I think that the science route that Andrew goes down is just like second to none.
Yeah. And he's very quick to correct himself even when he says something that's wrong. Like I saw your podcast with him and he even like went and commented, I made a mistake at this part. Like how many people do that?
Yeah. His preparedness to not be psychologically attached to the stuff that he puts out there is something that I think we all probably could learn a little bit from, because it's very difficult. And this is where I know that, you know, to bring Brian back into it, it must be difficult to have your entire public persona get dragged. Now, whether it was a contrived persona in an attempt to sell products that were built off the back of a body that was created using, that is by the by. However, it's not easy. It's not easy to be criticized online. Like, it fucking sucks. Like, the difference between me and my work and how people perceive that, and my worth as a person and whether or not I am fundamentally a piece of shit is like kind of hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you feel this? I mean, you know, you're regularly stepping into all manner of different contested topics. Is this something that you feel as well?
Yeah, like it's what is the overarching question that you're trying to ask here? Like how do I feel about
criticism online?
Okay.
Getting personally involved with it.
Yeah, I definitely read it, and I probably should be better about maybe not taking it so personally when people are going to disagree with you, and sometimes you could actually be wrong. And you know, I very much do acknowledge when I'm incorrect on something and try to be open to learning more. And I don't know, like I guess not being so dedicated to your way of the highway is the only way is very important to maintain, I don't know, flexibility as a creator and be able to retain an audience long term and have trust factor with them, in that you're not just dedicated to something even at the detriment of it being wrong or at their harm or something that you then find out to be totally incorrect. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff that back in the day I thought to be true that ended up not being true, and I learned otherwise, and you have to be open to going back on that, or else you are not a high quality resource, I would say. You have to be very open to the criticism and or learning more in general, for sure.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full unedited episode, and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.